Thank you for your interest in becoming a dog walker and/or playgroup assistant at the Charlottesville-Albemarle SPCA. This video will introduce you to the basic procedures for walking dogs at our shelter, as well as instruct you on ways to read dog body language. After you watch this video and pass the corresponding quiz, you will be able to sign up to shadow one of our experienced dog walkers. This video contains a lot of information. If you ever have questions or need retraining, even after you finish your shadow, please don't hesitate to ask. We are always happy to retrain volunteers. We want you feeling happy, safe, and confident while you are volunteering with us. Volunteers enrich the dogs' lives by walking them on the trails that surround our shelter, bringing them into enclosed parks for off-leash playtime, training them on basic manners so that they are more attractive to potential adopters, and helping our dog enrichment specialist bring them out for playgroups. If you sign up for a playgroup shift, our dog enrichment specialist will guide you as you bring dogs into and out of the play yard and monitor the dog's behavior to make sure everyone is having a good time. Playgroups are really fun. You get to see the dogs show their real personalities and enjoy each other's company. For the shelter dogs, these experiences are the best parts of their days. They love getting one-on-one attention, sniffing around, and getting some exercise. For our volunteers, these experiences should also be fun and exciting. After all, it's playing with cute pups. After you complete this online training and a shadow with an experienced volunteer, you will be able to sign up for either dog walking shifts or playgroup assistant shifts. You will only do playgroups under the direction of a staff member. You are required to wear long pants and closed-toe shoes every time you come in to walk dogs. You should also wear clothes you are comfortable getting dirty and sweaty in. Dog walking is a physically intense volunteer assignment. Sometimes nervous dogs will feel extra shy around people wearing sunglasses or brimmed hats. You are allowed to wear these things, but you might choose to remove them if you are working with a shy dog. Finally, you may want to bring a water bottle with you. We have water and paper cups available for you, but many volunteers like to bring their own bottles. So let's talk about shelter dogs. It's important to know that a shelter environment is not the same as a home environment. Because the dogs spend a lot of time smelling and hearing other dogs and humans, but not a lot of time interacting with dogs and humans, they may express some frustration, stress, or confusion. You may notice as you walk through the kennel that many dogs are barking at you. In most cases, these dogs are just seeking your attention and hoping for a walk. As you walk a dog through the kennel hallway past other dogs, you may notice that the dogs are barking at each other or showing barrier reactivity, even if they like other dogs once they are outside the kennel. We want you to know this information for two reasons. First, so that you do not behave towards shelter dogs who you don't know well the same way that you would behave towards your dog at home. Our dogs are living in a stressful environment, so you should use extra care when working with them. But don't worry, this video and your shadow with an experienced volunteer will teach you to identify dog emotions based on their body language so that you can respond appropriately. Second, we want you to know that shelter behavior is different than home behavior so that you can imagine happier, more relaxed futures for the pups you work with. We provide the dogs with enrichment in order to make them feel as happy, entertained, and comfortable while they are with us as we possibly can. From playgroups to walks to puzzle feeders and nose work, we work to reduce the dog's stress levels while they are in the shelter. All of these things make the dogs feel better and more like themselves. Staff perform behavior evaluations on all dogs who come into our care. These evaluations help us get a sense of each dog's likes and dislikes. We also use these evaluations to decide which volunteers can walk which dogs. We use walk tiles with different colors to indicate to volunteers which dogs they can walk. Green dogs can be walked by all volunteer dog walkers. While you always need to use caution when working with shelter dogs, we expect that your walks with these dogs will be relatively easy. Orange dogs can be walked by all volunteer dog walkers, but with extra caution. While we expect that all trained volunteers will be able to walk these dogs, you will need to be extra alert while working with them. They may be a bit shy, they may pull strongly on the leash, or they may jump up on you a little bit. This video will introduce you to some ways to handle dogs exhibiting these behaviors, and you will also find more specific information about each dog posted in our kennels. Pink dogs can only be walked by volunteers trained to be experienced dog walkers. Experienced dog walkers have volunteered with us for a while and have completed additional training so that they can learn how to work with these fussier dogs. You are not allowed to walk pink dot dogs unless you have been trained to be an experienced dog walker and your name tag says experienced dog walker. Blue dogs can only be walked by particular volunteers and staff members who have been approved by the dog enrichment specialist or the volunteer coordinator. All other volunteers are not allowed to walk these dogs. Finally, you may see dogs who don't have assigned colors yet. These dogs have just come into our care and we have not yet done a behavior evaluation on them. Only experienced dog walkers can walk these dogs. In short, as a new volunteer, you will be walking dogs who are assigned green or orange. Even among the green and orange dogs, you are only working with dogs who you feel personally comfortable with and who are receptive to working with you. It is okay to feel uncomfortable walking a particular dog, even if you are technically allowed to walk that dog. If you are nervous, the dog will sense that and they will be more likely to feel nervous too. You can just skip this dog and move on to someone else. There are many ways to tell how a dog is feeling, from the shape of their eyes, to the movement of their tails, to the position of their mouths. We will go over some of these signs in this video, but in the Files section on the home page of your Better Impact portal, you will find a document from the ASPCA that includes many more details. One easy way to tell how a dog is feeling is to look for how relaxed or tense a dog's body language is. A tense dog is possibly feeling stressed or threatened, but a relaxed dog is excited to go out with you and receptive to being handled. Signs of relaxation include a wiggly body, an open mouth, and the corners of the mouth may be slightly turned upward, almond-shaped eyes with no whites visible, a loose, wagging tail, relaxed muscles, ears forward. A relaxed dog may still jump up and bark as you approach, but they are looking to attract your attention, not to warn you off. A tense dog will show you many body language signs to tell you that they aren't interested in interacting with you or that something else, maybe a passing dog, a squirrel, or a stranger, is upsetting them. Signs of tension include hair on the neck and back sticking up, an intense stare, white parts of the eyes visible, a tightly closed mouth or a tense open mouth with teeth visible, muscles flexed, pulling forward in the harness or collar, ears back, a stiff tail, lunges, air snaps, or growls. If you approach a dog's kennel and they are showing you these signs, you will decide that it's not the right time to walk that dog. You will decide instead to throw some treats towards the back of the dog's kennel so that they start to associate you with happy things, and maybe next time they might want to go out with you. Remember that warning signs are good things. If a dog is showing you any of these signs, even the scary ones like growling, they are still demonstrating bite inhibition. They aren't trying to hurt you, they're just telling you what they need, more space. We respect warning signs by backing off. We do not punish them. If a dog starts showing any of these signs while you are out for a walk, maybe when another dog walks nearby or if they see a squirrel on the trail, you are simply going to increase the space between your dog and whatever is upsetting them by directing the dog to walk in the opposite direction. You may also see shy dogs in the shelter. These dogs are feeling overwhelmed in this stressful environment and they are nervous around strangers. These dogs will move as far away from you as possible by going to the back of the kennel when you approach, tuck their tails under their legs, flatten their ears, avoid eye contact, cower or growl, or lick their lips and yawn. Just like with tense dogs, we want to give shy dogs the space they are asking for. We don't want to push them to go outside or to interact with humans by grabbing their collars or dragging them out. Instead, we want to help them learn that humans are great while we respect their boundaries. You might toss a treat behind a shy dog so that they get the double reward of a tasty snack and getting to increase their distance from you, the stranger. If the dog will allow you into the kennel, but they don't want to be leashed or go outside, you might just squat on the opposite side of the kennel, talk softly to them, and toss treats, and then leave the kennel after a few minutes. Canines and primates communicate with their bodies in different ways, so some body language that seems friendly to us, like direct eye contact or a direct approach, may actually seem intimidating to dogs. To make a dog feel more comfortable with you, especially if they are exhibiting any of these tense or shy signs, you can avoid sustained direct eye contact, approach the dog's kennel at an angle, or angle your body sideways to the dog when you are in the kennel, shake your tail a little bit so that you're showing loose body language, just like we want to see from the dogs, or squat down to meet the dog rather than bending forward from the hips. These body language signs are part of what helps staff assign each dog a color, so we expect that all the green and orange dot dogs to be excited to go out with you. However, dogs are individuals. They might have a bad day or their behavior might change while they are in the kennel, so you will need to read each dog's body language every time you come in. Please remember to approach each dog as an individual rather than judging them based on breed or previous circumstances. Remember, as new walkers, you will walk green and orange dogs who you feel personally comfortable with and who are receptive to interacting with you. On your shadow, an experienced dog walker will show you where to find and how to use the equipment particular to each dog, as well as how to mark off that a dog is going out, how to get into and out of the kennel safely, and how to keep the dogs and yourself safe and happy during walks. Many of our dogs wear Easy Walk harnesses, which clip in the front. Whenever possible, please remember to clip the leash to both the collar and the harness. It is also possible to turn a regular leash into a quick harness in a pinch. The video in the next section of this orientation will show you how to do this. Every time you interact with a dog while you are here, you are training them, whether you know it or not. With your behaviors, you are providing the dog's feedback on their own behaviors. Therefore, you'll want to use your reactions to encourage the dogs to behave well, to keep forepaws on the floor when visitors approach, to avoid jumping up, and to stay calm in the kennels, for example. At the CASPCA, we use positive reinforcement training methods when we work with the animals. We choose these training methods for two reasons. Shelters are already stressful enough places, so we want to add positive things to our dogs' lives, not negative things. Other training methods, like obedience-based methods, required really skilled handlers. If done incorrectly, punishment-based methods can have a detrimental effect on a dog's development. Positive reinforcement methods are more forgiving, and since our dogs have many handlers, we need that flexibility. In practice, using positive reinforcement training means using anything that the dog finds exciting and fun to reinforce good behavior. These reinforcements can include taking a dog out for a walk once they have 4 paws on the floor in the kennel, giving a dog a fun toy for sitting, giving the dog a treat for peeing outside, or letting a dog run around off-leash after they've walked quietly on-leash. If a dog is doing behavior you don't like, you will either manage that behavior or remove whatever is rewarding them for that behavior. For example, if a dog is pulling on the leash and barking when they see another dog on the trail, you will manage that behavior by putting more space between your dog and the other dog. If a dog is jumping up on you when you enter the kennel, you will remove the reward for that behavior, your attention, by turning around and ignoring them. You might be tempted to push them off or to say no, But all of that is still more attention and might actually encourage the dog to keep jumping up. If you remove all of your attention when they jump up, they'll eventually get the idea that they get your attention when they have 4 paws on the floor. You'll see these methods in action during your shadow. If you ever have any questions about how positive reinforcement training works, we'd be very happy to talk to you about it more. Please don't hesitate to contact the volunteer coordinator. The remainder of this video will introduce you to some situations that you may experience while you walk dogs at the SPCA. Some of these experiences are fun, like what to do when a potential adopter approaches you, or how to use a play park. Some are neutral, like what to do if you approach another dog and dog walker on the trail. And others are negative, like what to do if you are injured or if you lose hold of a dog. We don't share these negative situations with you to scare you. We have many safety precautions in place to prevent, as much as possible, these negative situations from arising. However, just in case they do, we want you to know how to respond appropriately. You always want to keep dogs at least 10 feet apart from one another while you are walking them on our trails. Many dogs find leash greeting stressful, even if they like dogs off leash, so we don't do leash greetings at the shelter. It isn't always possible to keep dogs 10 feet apart, like when you're walking through the kennel or past a play park. In that case, you want to keep as much distance between the dogs as possible, but you don't want to walk in between the 2 dogs. Instead, put yourself up against the wall or at the edge of the trail and keep your dog on a short leash next to you. If you notice your dog getting stressed near other dogs, you'll want to increase that comfortable distance to at least 20 feet. Good news, you're walking a cutie and a visitor to the shelter asks you about your dog. What you will do is tell the visitor all the awesome things you know about the dog. What you may do, depending on the dog's body language and the visitor's receptivity to instruction, is invite them to pet the dog. If you do invite them to pet the dog, you want to do so one person at a time and on the back and the chest, not on the head, tail, or feet. Most dogs are most comfortable being pet on the chest and on the back, where they can see the person's hands if they want to. What you will never do is hand over the leash to a visitor. Once you take your dog out, it is your responsibility to put the dog back in the kennel. In that case, you can just instruct the visitor to go to the front desk and talk to an adoption counselor who can then get the dog out for them later. It's important to keep a tight hold on the leash while you walk dogs here, even those green dogs who seem pretty easy. We have lots of things here to attract a dog's attention. Other dogs, new people, and really brave groundhogs. You always want to have a tight hold on the leash. If ever a dog does slip out of your hands, don't panic and don't chase the dog. Instead, you will toss anything fun that you have with you on the ground near you, so treats and toys, and then try to step on the leash when the dog gets closer. You can also fake run away from the dog, pretending something really fun is in front of you to try to get the dog to follow you. You can roll on the ground and look a little hurt to see if the dog will come up to check on you. And then if none of these options work, only then will you chase the dog towards the back of our property, that's towards the woods, away from the road, and then run into the building to find a staff member. We will then put out a call on the loudspeaker, and lots of people will be out to help you catch the dog. We have 9 fully enclosed play yards where you can let a dog off leash for some fun playtime while you're here. To use a play park, you need to close both doors, place a clip, which is a cut-off leash, through the latch, and only then let the dog off leash. You will only have one dog at a time in the play park, unless you're working with dogs who are housed together all of the time. As a new walker, you will not leave a dog unattended in a park except in emergency situations. That's because we want you to focus on the dogs and give them your attention. You will, however, see some experienced dog walkers and staff members leaving dogs in parks unattended, so don't worry about that. We just don't want you doing that yet. During your shadow, you'll get to practice using a play park, and you'll also learn about our 2 extra special play yards and how to use those. We also use these parks during playgroups when you can help our dog enrichment specialist bring multiple dogs out at a time. These playgroups are a ton of fun and a great way to get lots of dogs exercise simultaneously. While most of our dogs are housed alone, we will sometimes house dogs together when we know they get along well. With paired dogs, you'll want to walk them together with another volunteer whenever possible. These dogs are allowed to walk close together and go into a play park together. While you should not walk 2 dogs at once by yourself, you can walk one of the paired dogs at a time if you can't find another volunteer to help you. Keep in mind that you can only enter a kennel alone if you are allowed to walk both of those dogs in that kennel. If you are ever injured while you are volunteering, be sure to return your dog to a safe space, either their kennel or a play park with both doors closed and the clip through the latch. You will then report your injury to the front desk staff. They will help you figure out what kind of medical attention you need, and they will make sure that the dog gets back to the kennel if they aren't there already. Remember, because we are a no-kill shelter, reporting a bite or scratch does not mean that the dog will be euthanized. It means that the dog will get all the necessary medical and behavioral attention that they need. Dog bites and other injuries are rare, and we share all of this information with you so that your time volunteering with us is as safe and enjoyable as possible. If you ever have questions about anything in this video or what that happens while you are walking dogs, please do not hesitate to talk to our volunteer coordinator. If you notice that a dog is sick or injured, please notify our vets using the appropriate clipboards, which you will see on your shadow. If it is an emergency situation, please notify a front desk staff person immediately, and then they will talk to our clinic staff for you. After you finish watching this video, you will take a quiz covering the most important points. If you pass the quiz, you will then have the opportunity to sign up for a shadow session with one of our experienced dog walkers. Please use the Opportunities tab on Better Impact to sign up for a shadow. During that shadow, you will see our facility, learn more about dog behavior and our procedures, and practice working with the dogs. We're so excited to have you join our team of dog walkers and playgroup assistants. Our dogs, our staff, and our volunteers will be very glad to have you spend your time with us.